What's up everyone, welcome back to the LV Rated 10 YouTube channel. By the time this video comes out, I will be already in Boston getting ready for week number 1, Raiders versus Patriots, doing all kinds of stuff in New England, so getting ready for that. But there's still a game to play on Sunday, so let's go ahead and see the preview. Let's get into it.
Las Vegas Raiders start 2025 on the road, strutting off to the East Coast, sporting a very Northwest vibe. They are in New England, taking on an old Patriot who debuts behind the wheel of a very new-looking Patriots team.
Yep, obviously, talk of the offseason. Patriots got a new coach, new offensive coordinator, new entire coaching staff, and a new mentality. Mike Vrabel coming in. He's going to bring in that dog mentality that really got the Titans multiple AFC South championships as well as multiple playoff appearances and a #1 seed over a budding dynasty at the time. So they're hoping that the Patriots and Mike Vrabel, who played for them, can bring them back to relevance, which they have not been in the past couple of seasons.
All 32 teams are lined up at the 2025 starting line together. We don't know who might win the race right now, no matter what we think. So let's try and unlock this matchup with 14 keys. One of them has to work, right?
Let's get one here. Let's get one here, baby. Let's get one here. Let's get one here.
Let's begin with the debut of the Pete Carroll-Ashton Genty combo meal. Pete loves to toke it. Him and Beast Mode had some sessions, man. Genty has been compared to no other than Saquon. Not sure if a toy comes with it, but that's what New England's defense is being served up.
Obviously, Raiders have had a lot of changes as well. Pete Carroll coming in, John Spytek coming in, the draft and Ashton Genty coming in. A lot of different changes from the Raiders of last season. A lot of good changes from the Raiders of last season too. So hopefully those changes can definitely make this Raiders season a much different, a much better one for us.
May we move on to key number 2 already? Drake not only has a new head coach in his ear, he has a new OC in Josh McDaniels. Not the best track record guiding quarterbacks in New England, but maybe he'll get it right this time around.
And a touchdown pass on a perfect dime from Drake May.
That's going to be a big storyline coming into this week as well, is Josh McDaniels is going to be playing his former team that he got fired from, and he honestly tore up the Raiders organization on his way out too. So as a Raider fan, I want to get, some retribution for what he did to us, and I want to kill these Patriots. And then I'm sure on the other side, he has some type of feeling about the Raiders organization as well, firing him in a really public and kind of embarrassing way. So I'm sure that both of the sides of the ball is going to be really intense for this game.
May has a new WR1, a new first-rounder protecting him, and the kid didn't look bad as a rook in the middle of a tough sitch. Key 3, his counterpart, third Northwest connection new to the Vegas cast, Geno Smith reuniting with Carroll, has Chip Kelly as his new OC. He was last seen calling Ohio State's offense, so the intrigue surrounding the offense is broader than just their ground game.
Fires towards the sideline, and that one is caught.
Like they said, Geno Smith is going to have his first start as a Raider. And I think the key there was, if you've seen on the graphic, he had 15 interceptions last season. And that's where, as a Raider Nation, we hope that he kind of calms down those interceptions. A lot of those interceptions were in the red zone, which the Raiders are famously known to not have a great red zone percentage. So we're hoping that with the additions of Ashton Genty, obviously we had Brock Bowers last season, Michael Mayer's coming back and it's going to be fully healthy, and the additions with all the rest of the people on offense, we're hoping that the red zone percentage goes up and those interceptions go down for Geno Smith.
Brock Lesnar Bowers, key number 4, New England secondary, taking on what some actually think will wear the tight end championship belt by year's end.
I'm not blocking. I'm running around, actually.
If he could look as good as he did with Uncle Rico and Farva throwing him the ball, how much better might he be with Geno?
Bowers into the end zone.
Ping pong back to New England's top pass catcher for key 5. Stephon Diggs makes his debut with Patriot Pat on his helmet. Not sure if he'll be handing out gift bags on the way in, but Diggs is supposed to play a vital role in elevating May's play.
Throws to the end zone, caught Diggs!
Key number 6, the revamped Vegas defense May and Diggs are taking on. Raiders D was not good in 2024. New faces being plugged into the starting 11, all under the guidance of new DC Patrick Graham.
Diggs wrapped up and can't get away!
Ditto to key number 7, New England.
He said new DC Patrick Graham. He's not a new DC. We've had him for since Josh McDaniels hired him as a DC. So it's been a couple of years that we've had Patrick Graham, but 8 new starters on the defense. That's a lot of change on the defensive side of the ball. Hopefully, like we said, the different change is going to be positive change for the Raiders. So we're hoping that all the changes and the different people coming in and stepping in on our defense is going to be a positive change for us.
England's defense also ain't the same as it used to be. New DC and Terrell Williams, 5 new starters who weren't with the team in 2024, plus the return of DT Christian Barmore, so to speak.
And I think for the Patriots, that's a big deal as well, because not only do you get Christian Barmore back, you get former Raiders as well, who had really good seasons in Caleb Von Chason and Robert Spillane, just to name a couple, who really stepped up and they were bright spots last season for, as mentioned, a bad Raiders defense last season. So I know that's going to be another storyline for us to watch, is how do the former Raiders play against the Raiders this week.
Lots of new faces on both these defenses in this game.
Go, you've been stopping them all day, Doug. You've been stopping them all day.
We go back to Las Vegas's defense for our 8th key, Malcolm Koonce. Recap, Koonce came on late in 2023 and looked like he was ready to break out as a top-tier pass rusher type to help Mad Max chase down some gas up front. And Crosby was a lone road warrior once again. Those 3 plus Adam Butler are going to test New England's retooled O-line. Key 9, of course, is New England's Big Uglies. May's going to see what it's like with 2 new tackles, drafted Will Campbell in the first round, signed Morgan Moses. They have a new center. Their line was not a strength in 2024. They hope it is in 2025.
Caught on the right sideline.
Like you said, the New England Patriots did not have a great offensive line last season, and their main key in this offseason was to protect their quarterback, their possible franchise quarterback in Drake May. And so they drafted Will Campbell, a top tackle in this year's draft. And I think Will Campbell's going to be a very good player. I really like Will Campbell coming into this draft, so I think they'll be at least a little bit better. But the previous key in Malcolm Koonce is going to be big for the Raiders defense, because he was a budding superstar right before he got injured last season in training camp. So I'm hoping that he can get back the juice that he had prior to last season's injury. And he's looked a little slow starting in this preseason. So hopefully he's just trying to catch up to the speed of the game again. And hopefully it's going to be at the beginning of the year with week number 1 against New England.
For a touchdown.
In at 10, all the other guys that line is supposed to set up. Mac Hollins, new to the Patriot way as well. Demario Douglas and Kayshon Boutte, May's partners from last year. Hunter Henry at tight end.
Scrambles out of the pocket, and there's Hunter Henry again.
Patriots' run game also features a new body. It's a very different O-face, hopefully better than Lumberg's. Debut time for second-rounder Travion Henderson. Paired with returnees Ramondre Stevenson and Antonio Gibson, Vegas' defense could very well find itself trying to stop a relentless rush attack.
Gets through the line of scrimmage across the 5.
That's going to be a big key. With the loss of Christian Wilkins in the middle, I think they're going to try to run the ball, because right now our defensive tackle spot is looking a little bit thin. And with Ramondre Stevenson, who had some underrated seasons so far in his career in the league, and then second-round rookie and Travion Henderson looked absolutely great in preseason. I think those are the 2 guys that the Raiders need to key, especially if the Patriots want to take some of the pressure off of their quarterback. They're going to just hand the ball off to Ramondre Stevenson and to Travion Henderson. So I think those are 2 guys that the Raiders defense needs to really key on.
Second rounder is also making his first regular season start for the Raiders offense. That's key 12. Bash is supposed to provide Geno with a nice additional option. Pat's corners chasing him around, as well as vet Jacoby Myers. Pats fans know that dude.
He's got an open man. Myers under it.
Slowing down those cats partially hinge on whether Key 13 can do its job. Think Vrabel's going to bring it back since it was pounded into his head when he was first there. Pat's pass rush wasn't in much of a rush last year. Plug Barmore into the trenches, missed most of last year hurt. Milton Williams debuts at DT after playing well for the Champs, and they also signed Harold Landry, who played for Vrabel in Tennessee. He's a consistent double-digit bagman.
Sacked! Back at the 25, Landry again!
Behind
That's big because the Raiders' offensive line also is looking kind of shaky. So for us to really expect to win this game, we're really going to need to depend on our offensive line opening up the holes for Ashton Genty, because the Raiders, we all know, are going to want to run the ball. So it's really dependent on our offensive line taking care of these guys that they just mentioned, to take care of not only Ashton Genty, open up those holes and make sure that he has somewhere to go with the ball, but number two, to keep Geno Smith upright. And Geno Smith, so far, every time that I've seen him play, he looks calm and really decisive in the pocket. So I'm really hoping that can translate into the regular season, and we can go ahead and continue that trend of him looking really good so far.
Behind them, our 14th and final key, Robert Spillane. Black Hole is like, that guy is also in Mr. Hand's class because we know that dude. Spillane has been balling on the strip the last few years, but few have noticed. One of the many new faces hitting the scene as part of that overhauled defense.
Minutes of energy and passion.
Didn't hit everything. New England corner Christian Gonzalez, for example, stud, making his way up the cornerback charts quickly. But what else should fans consider in this one? Provide the answer along with your prediction in the comments section, won't you? That's how these work. I'm Game Preview Guy, or GPG if you're into the whole brevity thing. I'll be trying to tie the room together again this season. I am again assisted by my panel of 10. Season is finally back, though. Time for another great roller coaster ride. Thanks for jumping on with us.
All right, here we go. Here comes all the predictions. It looks like, of course, the Raiders aren't going to get a lot of respect. I'm honestly surprised it's not a little bit more split, considering that not only were the Raiders not very good last year, but the Patriots weren't very good as well last year. So, and I think that the Raiders upgraded it a little bit more as far as quality. The Patriots spent a lot of money this offseason, though. That's where I think that the analysts here are kind of heading towards. But as you can see, MJD is always going to have the Raiders in his heart. He played for the Raiders in Oakland, so I know he's always going to have a little bit of a Raider edge to him. Everyone else here, Daniel Jeremiah, Adam Rank, Bucky Brooks, E. Edholm, the guy I always have problems with because he picked Carolina. He was the only one to pick Carolina win last year, and I said that he was tripping. Insert the clip here. I don't know who this is right here, E. Edholm. You're tripping, bro. You're tripping. But I was really the one who's tripping. So here we go again. The start of a new season. This is what the analysts have. To me, I do believe this is a game that the Raiders should win and could win, obviously. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I am going to say it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game. I think everyone kind of agrees here. I mean, 23 points is kind of a lot. But I'm going to go ahead and go 21-14 Raiders. I think it's going to be less of a scoring game than everybody has predicted here. Because both teams want to run the ball efficiently. And I think that's where a lot of the chunk of the clock is going to go, is towards the running game. So I'm going to go with 21-14 Raiders. Thank you guys for pulling up. What do you guys think is going to be the ending of this game? Let me know your score predictions down below in the comments. Like I said earlier, by the time this comes out, I will be already in Boston. Maybe I have some stuff coming out already prior to this video. Who knows? But I will be vlogging out there. I will be, recording everything and just kind of saying what's up to Raider Nation. So if anybody does want to come up and say what's up or get into a video or whatever, just, hit me up on Instagram. Come up and say hi to me. Whatever it is, we're going to have a really great time in New England. I know it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of Raider Nation is going to pull up, so make sure you're there and tuning in. But thank you again. Thank you, Raider Nation. Just win, baby.